You're now live.
Great, thanks, Rebecca. So I'll call to order the meeting of the Historic District Commission for September 10th, 2020. Mr. Parcell, could I ask for you to call roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Wing, or we'll start from top. Commissioner Hendricks?
Here.
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Sousa, sorry you got put in as an attendee, but you are now in as a panelist, and we're doing roll call.
Here.
Commissioner Fox Brown?
Here.
Vice Chair Wing?
Here.
All right, we have quorum.
Wonderful. Item B is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Go ahead.
And I'm sorry, who moved that?
Aaron.
Please
you.
remember to say your name when you do that for purpose of minutes.
Sorry. Aaron Souza. So moved.
Do I have a second?
Lindsay Gray, second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, item C, approval of the minutes for July 9th, 2020. Motion to approve the minutes.
This is
Motion to approve the, go ahead, sorry, Aaron.
Nope.
Go ahead,
Go.
second.
you already
Motion
went.
to approve the minutes that was for July 9th. Thomas Hendricks.
Aaron Souza second.
Thank you. Motion to approve by Commissioner Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Souza. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
I did not hear either Commissioner Fox or Commissioner Gray.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we have approval for the minutes for July 9th. Item number 2 on our agenda is communications. This is the point in time in the meeting where anyone in the audience who would like to speak to the commission has the opportunity to do so. It can either be about an item that is on tonight's agenda or about any item or any issue that you would like to speak to the Historic District Commission about. So I'll pause for a minute and see if there's anybody on the phone call or on the Zoom meeting who would like to address the commission.
Yep, so I'll take over. At the last meeting, we approved a 2-minute speaking limit for members calling into the meeting. For protocol purposes, I will list off when you have 30 seconds left, and when you have no time left, you will be muted again. I see that 4 of the attendees are applicants, so I will go right into caller with the last 3 digits of their phone number, 660. Your 2 minutes to speak begins now. Please state your name and address for purpose of keeping the minutes. 660, the floor is yours. You are muted currently.
And Mr. Parcell, if somebody is dialing in and they are an applicant for tonight's meeting, they don't necessarily have to speak right now. Is that correct? They can,
Yes.
they can
Yep.
reserve their time, obviously, until the public hearing aspect.
Yes. Yep. But right now, caller 660, I'm starting your 2 minutes to speak now.
Yes, I am one of the people on the agenda
Oh,
tonight for window replacement for my home.
okay. I see 2 people on there then. All right. So I will pull you back up during the, during your application. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. And it looks like the rest of them are applicants, so we're free to proceed.
Wonderful. Okay. Seeing no other, no one else wishing to speak, we will move on to item number 3. Item number 3 is council liaison reports. I'm not sure, do we have a current council liaison? The last I saw, I wasn't sure that anyone had been, had either volunteered or been appointed. Do you know any differently, Mr. Parcell?
Yes. This week, our council liaison was appointed as Dana Watson. She is one of the newly appointed city council members. I haven't had the time to reach out to her and get her invited to the meeting since she was appointed midweek, but in the coming month, her and I will be talking to discuss, what we do and her role on the board. So we will be able to welcome her at the next meeting.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, we'll look forward to that. Okay, item number 4. This begins our public hearings. So we will start off with public hearing A. A public hearing will be held for the purpose of considering a request from John Waller for the property located at 831 Huntington Road to replace 17 windows with vinyl equivalents. Mr. Parcell?
Yes. So before I allow the applicant and his contractor, who I see in there, to begin their speaking, I'll go through it briefly. This is house 831 Huntington. There's the historical photo for everyone to see. Move the Zoom box out of the way. Essentially, the applicant is looking to replace the windows with a high quality vinyl replacement. They've looked into various materials for this and found that vinyl was the most affordable route. They're replacing every window on the home. The grid pattern will match what is existing currently, and their goal is to make the house more environmentally friendly. Attached to the application from Mr. Waller was an addendum here, which I will leave up, and some photographs. There was not specifications for the window, but his contractor is on the line, and he will be discussing that. I am going to unmute allow Mr. Waller and Mr. Ike to talk. There you go. Mr. Waller and Mr. Ike, you're both muted, but the floor is now yours for questions, and I'll be available for questions as well.
Okay, can you hear me, Jake?
I can.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that, and thanks to the other members of the commission for considering this request. So the argument is presented here. I mean, this is a house which was built in the late 20s, and certain aspects of it have not been well maintained. And the windows are in a fairly poor state of repair at the moment. It's not really feasible, I don't think, to repair them. And so we're looking at replacement. Obviously, traditionally they've been wood, but we consider the price of wood replacements to be prohibitive. Steve Ike, the contractor, has very kindly joined this meeting. And from what he said and others that I've spoken to, we think that would cost around about 40,000. And for a house which is worth about 250, our feeling is that, I mean, first of all, it's not something that we can afford, but it also seems disproportionate to the value of the house. Whereas the windows that Steve Ike is recommending are high quality, they're attractive, they'll last a long time, and they won't look decrepit like the existing ones do. In terms of consistency, I'm very sensitive to the need to maintain the integrity of historical areas. Our particular section of the neighborhood is not particularly historical, and I'm not aware of wood windows in any of the adjacent houses to ours, except for one where they're not in a very good condition, somewhat worse than ours. So yeah, on the basis that the alternative for us isn't very clear. I mean, do we just allow the windows to further deteriorate, or save up for several more years to try and find wood replacements, which then constitute a really high proportion of the value of the house? So our strong preference is to do take the vinyl route, but do it really well with a high quality product. So Steve, would you be able to add something about the product and what the plan is?
Yeah, sure. So can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm not really, I'm more of a consultant on this rather than a contractor. I know that Mr. Waller has gotten some prices from some other contractors. Typically what we do in these neighborhoods is we do a wood clad combination window, and we mimic the the grill pattern of the windows. So this house here has a 6/1 pattern, and we can do that in a Marvin product, but the cost would be about $40,000. The other option is to use a Marvin Integrity unit, and the 6/1 would be mimicked with grills between the glass, so you wouldn't have that depth perception that a true divided light gives you. But the benefit long-term, I think, for historic restoration and preservation is really to make these kinds of projects approachable financially. So I have restored hundreds of wood windows, and every time I'm done with these wood windows, I'm restoring them. I'm not happy with the result as far as how long will the paint last? 1 or 2 years. What is the insulation quality of that window? Poor, typically. So we can go the route of the clad wood combination with a high expense, which then diminishes people's approachability to cost and maintaining their homes in these historic districts. Or we can go with something that reasonably mimics the quality and then makes the cost more affordable. So, I've got vinyl windows in my cottage up north, and I absolutely love them. It's a great product. It's not for everything. I can't use them when I do big commercial projects where I have 9-foot tall windows, because the structure of vinyl can't go that large in a window. So I have to use wood windows in those kinds of restorations. But for what Mr. Waller has here, I think that these vinyl windows would certainly be something that would be approachable as far as look and as far as price.
Thank you.
If I
All
could
right,
just,
thank you both.
oh, sorry,
Go
could I just add one thing?
Of course.
A serious concern of mine in this house has been insulation as well, because I mean these houses are, they're lovely houses, but they were built when oil cost nothing and seemed unending. And not destructive to the planet. So, I'm really keen to make this, I'm going to be living in this house, hopefully for the next 30 or 40 years. And I want to make it environmentally sensible. And that's another reason why I want to do the windows. Why, it's a frustration if I can't do them because I can't afford the wood option. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Do we have the specs on the window?
We don't. Steve, are you able to comment on what that would involve if we went for the Marvin Integrity?
I'd simply be sharing a link with the committee members on the Marvin Integrity product.
I'm not. This is Aaron. I mean, we've faced the vinyl question more times than I can count. But as a technical matter, if we don't actually have the specs on the window, we don't, at some level, have an application to judge.
Okay, well, I can certainly share that with Dr. Waller, and then he can send that to you guys. But, I'm not sure if you've seen this product before, but it's, the style and rail is the same width as a traditional double hung window, and the grills are simply between the glass. So that's it. And I know that you guys have standards written into the commission as far as what you can evaluate. I don't know if this is a non-starter just because they're vinyl. I know from my standpoint of being a preservationist, I do understand that cost is a factor when you're talking about historic restoration, and we can't all be purists. So, and I'm not a purist, but I've done a lot of historic restoration. So from that standpoint, that's kind of my argument and my shtick. If you guys have it in your ability to consider that, I know that you've considered this before, and I don't know how many times you've probably turned it down. But if you can see to maybe change the guidelines that would help historic restorations on these smaller homes, that would be something that I would consider.
Um,
I have a quick question. I'm looking on the Marvin website and I just wanted to confirm, it seems like the integrity line itself has transitioned into the Marvin Essential line. Is that correct?
That could be. I have
It's
not.
the Elevate, which I have sharing on the screen right here. I think at least or that's the wood double hung. It looks like all the names have changed.
so what I have shared is the pictures from the house.
Oh, well,
Me too.
I have no idea how that's happening, but
And so this is Vice Chair Wing. To Commissioner Souza's point, the fact that we do not have an example as part of the application itself that lists exactly the name of the product and exactly the configuration of the product is causing concern in terms of how we can proceed with the application. Understanding, of course, that it's written that you are proposing a quality Marvin window, but not knowing exactly the name of the product. And then, of course, there's all the configurations and options that each window company has ad nauseum. I mean, I would posit that the application is really not complete and that we do not have the product in which we can make a judgment on.
Yeah, now I am, just as a member, I'm more than happy to suggest a few things, which is usually we want not just an internal grill, but we want external grills as well, sort of like a simulated divided light would look like. We don't always agree to replace windows like for like. We prefer to have people keep windows and keep them repaired. That being said, the windows on the back may not be within our purview. And I can't tell from this picture whether or not the back is visible from some other right of way, but you know, Secretary of Interior standards, at least from my perspective, are fairly straightforward in that we're supposed to preserve structures in the house. If they can no longer be preserved, then they should be replaced like for like.
for the purpose of minutes keeping, Chair Flores has entered the meeting at 7:20 p.m.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry for being tardy.
Vice Chair Wing, how would we address the question of the fact that we don't really have a window to consider as a part of the application?
My comment would be that the application is not complete.
And that would mean that the homeowner could fix it and come back, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Is that,
This is Vice Chair Wing saying yes.
Am I able to speak at this point?
Yes.
Oh, good. That seems quite reasonable. Just one quick question I have. Well, first of all, a number of these windows are at the side of the house and are visible from to varying degrees from the front. So I'm assuming that what applies to the front of the house also applies to these windows.
yeah, generally. So in my house, when years and years ago, when we went through the Historic Commission to have an addition on the back, a part of it was visible on the side. So the windows there are simulated wood, aluminum clad, simulated divided lights. The back, we never had to get any approval on what we have back there.
Yeah, and I wonder if you could comment on the principle that was just mentioned about like being having to be replaced by like. Is there flexibility? Because it would seem to me that would preclude the vinyl being an option.
So I don't know that the group has, I've been on for quite a while now. I don't know that we've ever approved vinyl except to replace vinyl windows that were put in before something was in a historic district. We have approved wood with aluminum, and we've approved there's some sort of composite window that I think we have once, we've approved.
You have.
So, but generally it's, only replacing windows that are deemed, not fixable, which is, I will admit, a bit difficult to figure out sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so, but it sounds as if it might not be worthwhile resubmitting once we have the specifications of these windows. Would that seem to be a fair?
Yeah, so you could poll each of us. From my perspective, the odds of me voting for a vinyl window are very low.
Right. Has consideration been given to a principle that would, along the lines of wood would only be mandated if the cost didn't exceed X percentage of the value of the home? Well, because it seems to me the alternative is that most of the smaller houses in this area will end up with increasingly decrepit windows.
Yeah, that is a problem. The Secretary of Interior standards that sort of govern our behavior don't, with the exception of actual demolition, don't particularly say very much about cost.
And so I don't want to take up too much of the committee's time, but what is your sense of the amount of flexibility that a historic commission has on this? Are they able to, are those rules, are they guidelines, or is that mandated? Is there discretion on the part of the committee?
I don't know that I should be speaking for the committee, but I would say that we don't get audited by the Secretary of Interior, but we do try to uphold the standards that are laid out by the Secretary of Interior and in the state law. And Jessica may know more about this than I do.
Right. Hi, Mr. Waller. This is
Hi.
Jessica Flores, the chair. So here's what I want to provide you with is we do follow the Secretary of the Interior standards for any rehabilitation approach. And in this sense, you're interested in replacement, it's not rehabilitation. And so we're providing you with alternatives instead of straight replacement. That would be guidelines that we follow set forth by the National Park Service. And that's part of the Department of the Interior. So the U.S. Department of the Interior. And these are strict guidelines that we follow in order to preserve the type of residential historic integrity, the building fabric, the type of homes that make up the Chesterfield, the historic district where your home is located. So we are happy to provide you with either wood window rehabilitation specialists that at a fraction of the cost of replacement to rehabilitate your windows and save you money. And we can guide you through that, or we can give you alternatives to vinyl replacement. Vinyl is not appropriate on a home like yours. And so we would recommend following these standards of what would be appropriate. And also just to add into that is that vinyl windows fail within 10 to 12 years after installation. That's hoping that they were installed correctly. And so just from our years of experience and in the field of preservation or working on old buildings, is that here's what we recommend, here's what our guidance that we follow. And we are also bound by the state because we have adopted a historic district ordinance within the city of East Lansing, and we are a certified local government. We have a partnership with the State Historic Preservation Office. We're pretty keen on keeping the homes as they are in their historic nature in East Lansing. That's what makes your neighborhood desirable. So to not get down into a further rabbit hole, we're not going to approve vinyl, and that we will provide other alternatives for you. to ease on the financial hardship and to save you money. And as far as a sustainability approach, vinyl is not sustainable in the long run. And I wanted to say, prior to me going down talking about what we follow, our guidelines, is that I don't see any indication on your application that shows levels of deterioration why you want to remove these wood windows. So I would err to the side of giving you guidance for a wood window specialist to rehab your windows, make them more energy efficient and weatherize them.
Okay, I'd be very grateful if you could do so. Thank you.
Yes, I'd certainly be happy to do that.
Great.
Chair Flores, this is Vice Chair Wing. Do you want to take over running the meeting at this point? Just a point of order.
Okay. I'm happy to do that. And I thank you for jumping in on my behalf. I apologize for being tardy. I got caught traveling north.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did anyone want to make a motion?
Point of clarification, you have to, because we spoke to the applicant, we have to now open the public hearing for the public.
Okay.
Not that there will be comments, but.
So we open it up for public comment then?
Yep, just like you would in a normal meeting, just ask if anyone has any public comment to raise their hand with the Zoom function, and I'll monitor that.
Okay, thanks, Jake. So I'll open it up at this time for any public comment on this window replacement application.
Seeing none, you can close the public comment.
Okay, this time we'll close the public comment section.
Okay. Now a motion would be appropriate.
I guess I have a question. If Dr. Waller was going to withdraw with the idea of putting forth either detail or for next month or a different kind of proposal, I guess that would change how we dealt with a motion.
Mr. Waller, are you favorable to any of those options?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yes, quite possibly. I'll have to give it some thought, but yeah, I mean, certainly my intention would be to resubmit something which is more acceptable for next time.
That sounds good. I guess you can, or so the deadline was yesterday for the October meeting. If you want to have it in the October meeting, we'll have to make a motion to table it. And then we can have additional information included, or if you want to withdraw, the earliest we could do would be November.
This is Aaron Souza. I'd like to move to table.
Okay.
Commissioner Hendricks, I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Souza, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks in order to table the application at this time.
Okay.
I guess this would be the time for discussion. I think this gives him the most freedom to try to figure out what he wants to do without penalizing him an additional month.
Right.
Great, thank you. And how long would that give me to put together an alternative application?
The meeting is October 8th. The packet would go out on October 2nd. So ideally I would want it September 28th.
Okay.
So I can amend your staff report and combine everything and send it to the board. So it would give you about 18 days. I'm happy to work with you during that time to help put it together. And I'm sure Chair Flores and Vice Chair Wing are available to Zoom if you would like as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, that sounds good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I call the question?
Okay.
We do roll call votes only, just so you know now.
Okay. Okay.
You have to call it though.
So, I was getting ready to here. All in favor? Do you want to do a roll call, Jake?
We have to do roll call for every vote.
Okay, so then do you
Yep. You'll just have to call the vote and read the
call the
motion.
vote? And so just make a
Yeah.
this is a
You
motion.
would say per usual, you know. Motion
So,
from
a motion from Commissioner, sorry, I'm rusty. A motion from Commissioner Sousa, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks, in order to table the application in the interim.
okay.
All in favor, and Jake will call the roll.
So in favor of tabling the motion, Commissioner Sousa,
Yes.
Commissioner Hendricks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Fox Brown,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wing,
Yes.
Chair Flores.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Ike and Mr. Waller, I will be in touch. We will work on putting together an update or scheduling a meeting with our chair and vice chair, and we'll get you ready for the October meeting.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Dr. Waller. Okay, let's see. Next, it looks like we have an application for, let me scroll back up to my agenda here. Public hearing will be held for the purpose of considering a request from Brent Ross for the property located at 220 Kensington Road to replace windows with new replacement windows. Okay.
All right. On my Zoom, my screen share. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
All right. So here's the property, also in Chesterfield Hills at 220 Kensington. There's your historic photo. The applicant is proposing to put on some new windows. They are using the Fibrix material that was mentioned in the last meeting, or the last hearing by Commissioner Sousa. A total of 16 windows are being replaced with grills between the glass to match what's existing on the house currently. It's a non-vital synthetic material that is being used to replace the wood windows. We've seen this a couple times in the historic districts here so far, but it's I think the specs are down here. It's a relatively long packet from the applicant because of so many pictures. So I'll scroll through those up and down while I allow him to talk, and then he'll take the floor from here. So Mr. Ross, I have given you ability to speak. I'll scroll up and down through the photos while you can address the commission, if that's all right to you.
Sounds great. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Well, thank you for inviting me here tonight and for considering our application to replace the windows in our house. I think you'll see it through the pictures that we sent. We have 16 windows that we're looking to replace. They're in various stages of disrepair, from condensation. There's some cracked windows, some rotting wood as well. Some windows that don't open because of the amount of paint that's been put on them over the years. And so we are looking to replace the windows with a product from Renewal by Anderson, the composite Fibrix product. I think you do have the specs on. I
do.
I believe this is a product that has been used in the neighborhood previously by some of my neighbors. And so I'd appreciate your consideration for what we are planning to do. And I'd be open to any questions that you might have.
I believe all of the windows are 6/1 as well. Grades, correct, Mr. Ross?
That is correct. They're all 6/1. And so we do have some bay windows at the front and back of the house. We are not planning to replace those at this moment. They're in pretty good condition.
Thank you also for the comprehensive set of photos. It's always appreciated.
It was a few. And so the one issue that I think caused a lot of the problem in the previous homeowner had, when they put on the storm windows, they had caulked the bottom of the window, and so I think that created a lot of the condensation and rotting issues that have been a result. And so, going to the new window that won't have storm windows, I think will be something that we look forward to. We're also looking forward to the, I guess, the environmental standard of the product as well, and the durability of the product.
This is Vice Chair Wing. I don't have any questions for the applicant.
If there's no other questions, you can open the public hearing.
Thank you, Vice Chair Wing. At this time, we can open the floor up for any public comments. I'm just checking to see, Jake, is there anyone with the hand up, or is it basic just us? Okay.
Yep, I gave it a second. No, there is no public.
Okay, perfect.
Just us and the applicants today.
So let me see here. Does anyone want to make a motion to discuss the application? To approve the application as it stands and then open up for discussion.
Maybe the applicant can say more about whether the windows are in what level, what he knows about how well, or whether or not they could be repaired.
Yeah, so I think attached to my application, I did send a quote that I got from Heritage Window Restoration. I think it's a company that was recommended in the Historic Resource Council member directory. I think they're out of Grand Rapids. And so I sent them the pictures that I sent you as well. And so I did get a kind of a base quote back from the individual. They did not come out to the house, but essentially what I saw in the quote is just kind of the base price was going to be essentially the equivalent of the replacement windows. It was maybe 100 or two less per window, but that didn't take into consideration the various level of repairs that would need to be done. That would be on top of that. And so I went ahead with the application without getting that more detailed quote from them, understanding that it was probably going to be significantly higher than the product from Anderson.
I understand. Thanks.
That quote is on your screen right now, or it should be on your screen right now. Feel free at any time also to tell me to move within this packet wherever you want me to share that on the screen as well. I'm sure most of you have it up on your own screen.
I would have felt more comfortable seeing upwards of 1 to 3 quotes, just speaking with the applicant, because one quote, I have never heard of the Heritage Window Restoration Company, and I'm certain that they're a resource guide, you know. And I would have strictly kept it to rehabilitation of your original wood windows and not looking for equivalent to rehabilitate the storms. I would strictly look at your aluminum storms, but at the wood windows. And I feel like this is not an accurate quote because there's a lot of ambiguity here. There's a lot of we're not certain about, you know, it says there's a checklist of items that they are uncertain of if it contains curved glass. It's kind of sight unseen. I personally don't think your windows are very bad, and we can discuss that later when we open it up for discussion. Like missing or broken hardware required by the city. I'm not aware of specific hardware that's required by the city. There's a lot of unknowns and variables in this quote. So I don't feel like this quote is a well thought out, comprehensive quote.
And I guess I understand that. I'm upfront that the person from Grand Rapids did not come out to the house to see it. You know, my feeling was when I saw what the base price of the window is going to be, including the storm windows, because the storm windows are also in state of disrepair, and I guess I consider that to be part of the window that Anderson will be replacing, both the storm and the wood window as well. And so when I saw what the base price was going to be, in addition to the list of repairs that might have to take place, where I know some of those are going to be related to my product, like missing and broken weights, various sill and stool repairs, and other items on there. I guess I felt it probably wasn't necessary, but if because it was going to be substantially above the Anderson window and probably out of my price range.
Okay, thank you for your explanation.
I did talk to Jake beforehand. It was a little while ago. And so I tried to approach various contractors that were in the Historic Resource Council member guide. I think I contacted all of them that do window repair, and the Heritage Window Restoration Company was the only one that got back to me. So that's why you see one.
Okay. Does anyone have any additional questions for the applicant? If not, we could, I would ask for a motion to approve the application and then to open it up for discussion.
It's Commissioner Hendricks. I motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness based on the citing of Secretary Interior Standards 5 and 6.
This is ViceChair Wing. I second that motion.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Hendricks, seconded by ViceChair Wing, in order to approve the COA according to Secretary of the Interior Standards 5 and 6.
So this is ViceChair Wing. in looking at the pictures that the applicant has provided, these windows look fairly unique in terms of the mechanical system. They're double hung, but they don't use weights. And it sounds like we're getting some feedback. I apologize. My phone is feeding back into somebody else's. They don't use sash weights. It looks as though there's some type of metal or a spring in the frame as opposed to sash weights. So we're not exactly talking the same types of wood window replacement that we typically are in homes that were built even 5 years earlier than the applicant. I can somewhat understand why Heritage Window Restoration did not provide a complete quote, especially based, I don't know if the applicant gave the same level of photographs to Heritage Window Restoration that they did to the commission, but I can understand their rather vague quote. All of that being said, I would like to propose that as part of the approval or as part of the condition of the approval is that the grills, instead of being grills between the glass, which is what's marked on the, what am I trying to say, the proposal from Anderson, is that they be full divided lights, and that would be the only condition or stipulation as part of approval of the application. And I throw that out for more discussion.
Do you mean full divided or simulated divided?
Well, I'm looking at the quote sheet from renewal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what page that is.
I have it shared up there.
Okay.
Because usually it's, simulated divided, there's a grill between the glass plus, oh, I see.
But right, I'm trying to make the comment based on the options that are listed on that form, on the renewal by Anderson form, and the only thing that I see that fits like a simulated divided light is full divided light.
I think I would be happy with simulated divided light. I gotta believe that they do
except that I don't see that option here.
Yeah, I don't believe that's an option. There's full divided light grills on their website between the glass, which is aluminum grills, and interior wood grills. And the interior wood grills are the removable ones for ease of cleaning.
And so just for clarification on my part, so the full divided light would be the grills on the outside of the window?
Worse, it's actual individual panes. Okay. And like you have on those, I mean, they're usually much more expensive. Simulated divided lights are where there is an internal grill, plus then they also add external grills so that it has all of the, 90% of the look and feel of fully divided lights, but you still get the benefit of, you get the cost benefit of not having them have to do individual lights.
That's what this product is calling full divided light grills. Is exactly what you're explaining, Aaron. So
sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
What you're explaining is what Anderson Renewal is calling the full divided light grills. So they don't do a completely purist version of the full divided light grills.
Okay.
So, Mr. Purcell, do we need to make a change to the motion, or Commissioner Hendricks restate it, deny this one, and redo it?
I think that you could add or vote to add that as a condition of approval as the first vote. And then you could go through with the approval of the actual motion. So if you wanted to move that, Commissioner Wing.
Yes, I would move to, am I amending the motion or making a new motion?
Commissioner Sousa might know a little better how the way to go about it. I would say make a motion to add a condition of approval to the existing motion.
Yeah, you would ask it to be a friendly amendment.
Yeah, friendly amendment.
Thank you. Okay, so this is Vice Chair Wing making a friendly amendment to Commissioner Hendrick's original motion that as a condition of approval, the grills will be full divided light grills.
Second, Commissioner Hendricks.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a friendly amendment. Jake, steer me if I'm going the wrong route here. I have a friendly amendment to Commissioner by Vice Chair Wing
Yes.
to Commissioner Hendrick's original approval to add in full divided light.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. In a second, seconded by Commissioner
Hendricks.
Hendrick, sorry.
Yep. So I'll do a roll call really quickly. All those in favor of the friendly amendment to add in a condition of approval that the grills be full divided lights. Commissioner Sousa.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Yes.
Commissioner Gray.
Yes.
Commissioner Fox Brown.
Yes.
Vice Chair Wing.
Yes.
Chair Flores.
Yes.
Okay, so now the motion is to approve the certificate of appropriateness, citing Secretary of Interior Standards 5 and 6, with a condition of approval that the grills, instead of what is shown on the application, be full divided lights.
Correct. Are you going to do a roll call, Jake?
Yes. So with no more discussion, we will move into a roll call with that. To approve the motion as previously read for replacement windows as shown in the application with the condition that the grills be full divided lights. Commissioner Sousa.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Yes.
Commissioner Gray.
Yes.
Commissioner Fox Brown.
Yes.
Okay. Vice Chair Wing.
Yes.
Chair Flores.
No.
Mr. Ross, by a vote of 5-1, your application is approved with the additional condition of approval. I will email you and then mail out your approval letter on Monday since I'm out of the office tomorrow. And from there, you can go forth with getting your new windows.
Great, thank you. And thank you to the council for considering my application.
Thank you.
Okay. The final, let me see, under public hearings in letter C, a public hearing will be held for the purpose of considering a request from, let me see, whoops, lost my, Sameerah Shareef for the property located at 110 Kensington Road to replace windows with new replacement windows.
Okay. So this is our third house in Chesterfield Hills tonight. They are proposing new wood-clad windows with the same grid pattern for the house at 110 Kensington. It's 15 total windows with wood-clad Pella windows. The patterns and the grills are intended to match what's existing. The windows are on the first and second floor of the house. They'll be exactly where the existing windows are. Here is the quote from Pella, which I will leave up. Photos were included later in the packet. I am going to allow the applicant to have the floor right now, and they can answer any questions while I scroll through the packet on your screen.
Good evening. I hope everyone can hear me.
You can?
All right. My name is Sameerah Shareef, and as stated, I am the owner and do live at 110 Kensington Road in Chesterfield Hills. Thank you so much for your time and consideration of the application that I submitted. The reason that I am asking for your approval to have the windows replaced is because they are in poor repair to the point that even trying to lift the windows up to get air can be problematic. They're difficult to clean. And so I did have Pella Windows come out and do the estimate. They're also very leaky in the winter when the wind is blowing. You know, I get a good whistling sound as well as cold air that's coming in. So I'd like to have some windows that are more energy efficient, and it would also help to save on heating bills as well. I'd like some windows that are easier to maintain, and those are the major reasons why I really want to have the windows replaced, and I wanted to do it in such a way that the integrity of the architecture of my home would be considered and would be intact and come to the level of approval for the commission to have them done. So I submitted everything that I had and under the instructions of the person from Pella Windows. This is certainly not my area of expertise, so I completely relied on his ability to put the information in that you are looking at now.
Thank you, Ms. Shareef.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ms. Shareef, are these this is Vice Chair Flores. Are these the original windows of your home? Do you know?
I do not know. I have been in this home since 2008, so a little over 12 years. And
Okay.
They're the same windows as when I moved in. So
Okay.
It looks to me like the windows are all sort of equal grill on the top and the bottom from the pictures. And am I right about that? And it looks like that's what you're requesting in there's the same grill patterns, and I can't tell whether or not they're grills on the inside and the outside, and I'm sorry, you may or may not know, but I'm struggling to find that piece of detail. Does anybody see it?
It looks like, Aaron, it looks like it's the same, a number of lights above. So the same, 6/6, 8/8 for most of the windows. So
Okay.
is there, let me get out and glance back at the application.
It says ILT under the grill, and we've looked that up before, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it stands for.
All right, let me go back.
I believe, and probably Commissioner Gray could correct me, I believe it's Integrated Light Technology.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, that's correct.
Good memory.
And I believe that is full divided light. That's not simulated. Is that correct?
It is. No, these are simulated.
ILT is? Okay.
Yeah, the OG Integrated Light Technology. It's simulated, but in a very nice way.
It looks like it means that there are grills bonded to the inside and outside of the window glass with foam spacers between the grills to cast a realistic shadow like individual window panes would.
Thank you very much.
.com.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. God bless the internet.
If there's no more comments, Chair Flores, you could open the public hearing.
Sure, at this time, we can open it up for any public comment. Do I see any hands, Jake?
There are no public comments from the audience at this time.
Okay, perfect. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the application to open it up for discussion.
Commissioner Hendricks, I motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness, citing the Secretary of Interior Standards number 6.
This is Sousa. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Sousa to approve the application, the COA, according to following Secretary of the Interior Standard 6, I believe he said.
Correct.
Now we can open it up for discussion amongst the commission. So I will speak. This is Chair Flores. It's very hard for me to discern the level of condition for these windows because all of the photos are taken from a distance, a few feet away from the window. So I don't know if they're painted shut. I don't know if I'm only taking on what the applicant has given in her testimony, if you will, of what the condition of the windows are. I wish I knew if they were original or not. Of course, there's aluminum storms on the windows, but I really don't know. And so if this was brought to a state agency or another, they would probably kick it back to say, we need a better understanding of the level of deterioration before all these windows are taken out. That's why I'd ask, are any replacement or not? Are they all original? Makes it easier to make a decision if we knew that some were replacement or some they were all original and what the ratio of that is. And then also a more intimate look at the level of deterioration.
I reviewed, like I generally try to, if there's any previous C of A's for the property. I didn't see any, but our online record really only goes back the last 9 to 10 years for what I can find generally. So it would have been when Ms. Shareef owned the house anyway.
Okay, thanks, Jake.
Can I still speak, or is this not the time for? Okay. Well, the pictures were, the best that I could do. I didn't realize that there were going to need pictures with the application, and again, as I said earlier, the reason that I want them replaced, as you're looking at the aluminum around the storm portion and stuff like that, on some of them you can see how it's partially stuck, elevated and at an angle like that. That window that's showing right now, that won't come down without taking the whole window out just about. So again, one of the reasons for replacement is ease in keeping the windows looking nice and being able to clean them, et cetera, et cetera. And then a big part of it, of course, for me is for my home to be warmer in the winter. And these windows do leak quite a lot. So I don't know if there's anything else I can detail for you about the windows. I understand what you're saying in terms of needing better pictures. I can give you pictures from the inside, but I didn't know that was going to be something that was necessary for the application, because I certainly would have submitted that had I known that. So.
Sure, and thank you. Is there any more discussion you'd like to have amongst the commission? Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion?
There is a motion on the
There is a
table.
motion.
Oh, did I not? I
Yeah.
don't felt like, okay. I didn't hear it then. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, there's a motion from Commissioner Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Sousa, citing Secretary of Interior Standards number 6 to approve the application with the windows shown.
Okay. So then we need to open it up for roll call, right, Jake?
Yeah, unless there's any more comments.
No comments.
I simply thought that was to discuss the application, that it was approved and then discuss, but okay. So I have a motion by Commissioner Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Sousa, following Secretary of the Interior Standard 6 to approve the application for replacement of the windows with the Pella replacement windows.
That is correct. Roll call vote, Commissioner Sousa.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendricks,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Fox Brown,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wing,
Yes.
Chair Flores.
No.
Ms. Shareef, your application has been approved by a vote of 5-1. I will be emailing you and mailing out your approval letter tomorrow, or Monday, sorry. Other than that, you are free to leave the call, but you are also free to replace your windows. Thank you very much.
All right, Brent. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and consideration, Commission. Thank you again for the work you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, moving right along to number 2, I have whoops, sorry about that. To number 5, I have any old business to discuss. It looks like no old business, Jake.
Nope.
And then moving on to number 6, new business, review of the Historic District Commission guidelines.
Yes, so way back last year before the pandemic, council asked us to create guidelines for doing work in a historic district. I was working on them while we were working from home for 4 months, and then my laptop died. So I have been working the last month to put some stuff back together. It didn't get very far. But I also included a couple things that we have in there that I don't think that everyone has seen. So I wanted to open it up here to discuss briefly on what you want my next steps to be. Basically, I have it divided up in section 1. So everything in here is a brief overview of the historic districts, how to get work done in a historic district, and then it will include some general context. This is from our yearly mailer. I then have the Secretary of Interior Standards as a placeholder. Our section 101 of the code for preservation guidelines is a placeholder. And then I was thinking to do a breakout. These are all of the relevant work that I really think that we have done in the historic district. I don't think we generally see a C of A for anything other than what's listed here. So I wanted to go through and include something about every type of replacement, what constitutes an administrative approval, what you need in an application, what materials generally are favorable. We have some things like that, as I'm showing right now, that are called one-pager pluses. I was led to believe we had more of these, but I've only really ever been able to find the handrail one. Then we also have what is our original policy, kind of doing work in a historic district information. I don't know if anyone has read this in quite some time, but I can certainly replace or put most of this information into our new kind of packet for everybody, or our new resource. But I think some of it might be a little dated. But I put all this in here for you. Some of the pictures are certainly a little pixelated, but I can proceed with this however you want. The only thing we have for our next meeting is potentially Mr. Waller's resubmission. Otherwise, we weren't going to have a meeting. So I can have this for you by our first meeting in October, when we have relatively little other business, and then I can we can have a little more time to go over it. But open for thoughts, comments, and things you want me to kind of move forward on. there's an explanation of terms in here, which is very much not what our definitions are in the code. So that will have to be updated as well. But I just threw this all in here for everyone to kind of get initial thoughts, since it's been tabled by COVID for a while. And then the last section I had is notice to proceed, just for the last kind of thing we get in here. But eventually this should go on our website and kind of help people get through the process and have more complete applications. It was much more complete before I lost the document.
Yeah, this is great, Jake. I'm kind of going through it too. I would appreciate the time to go through it and then come back with some more comprehensive comments for you. And thinking about how would it look on our website? Like if you were just like, would it be like a toggle button, or would it just be a button like, I want to do a roof replacement, let me see what it looks like? How does the eaves trough have to be? You know, would it be?
Yeah,
like
so we have if you go to our website, let me try and pull it up really quickly. Can everyone see what I'm doing here?
Well,
wait one second.
I see you typing. I hear you typing.
Okay. Let me stop share. Let me reshare it really quickly. So this is our website right now here, and we have this section called Commission Documents. It's our map, bylaws, C of A, and then our meeting dates and submissions. This, in my experience so far, has been relatively easy to find for everyone. When I tell them to get a C of A or to look at our maps and stuff, I was imagining we would have it placed on the web under here or somewhere in the main body of text as a PDF hyperlink, kind of like how the bylaws just opened.
Wow.
I'm not the most graphically gifted individual, but we have a couple people here I could probably sneak a couple hours a week for to try and make it a little more pretty once I'm done with the content, like we've done with some of our other plans, if I ask nicely enough. But then we could have a resource right on the page. But I need to actually go through and have some time to type it all out and put it all in there. And then we can go through content-wise. But I was thinking it would be pretty simple in terms of this is what an application for a window should have, like a checklist almost. This is what materials are favorable. This is what constitutes administrative approval. Next section. That way, if anyone goes in and looks at that, they can say, okay, I have this, this, and this. And that way I don't have to hassle them for things repeatedly over time. But any other direction on what you want me to add to it, what you want me to do to it or change it, I'm open.
Thanks, Jake.
I like the idea of having a little bit more time to look at it, and because
Yeah.
I know I've squirreled away older documents that I can probably put my hands on and figure out if something got missed, you know, once your laptop died. If something,
Yeah,
Maybe
I think
send it
the
to us, Jake, because I save in a folder on my laptop.
I'm sorry, what, Jessica?
Did you send it to everyone? Like,
It's in the
or is it
packet.
in the process?
Yeah, I can do that. Well, now that we're back in office, I have my work computer again. I didn't for March to July, so
Okay.
yeah, I can try. Let me look at a calendar. If I get this to everyone by the 24th or 25th, then we can you'll have 2 weeks to review by October 8th. That meeting only has the tabled C of A, and then we'll have an hour or so to discuss any changes, and then we can put it in front of council in November if that timeline sounds amenable for everyone.
when you send the document, it will be an editable document, not a PDF.
It's a Word document right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can send it as a Word document. And then once the content's really ironed out, we'll have it prettied up a little bit and then turned into a PDF and posted on the web.
That sounds great, Jake. I think I was saying if you had ever sent it to us before as you were working on it.
Oh yeah. No,
One of us have it by chance have it. Okay.
Yeah, no,
To save you some time and heartache.
nope.
Okay.
I lost it, unfortunately, but
That happens.
I think I can get it back together pretty quickly. We're a little bit more caught up around here since we've been back for about a month and a half now.
Okay. No, that sounds really good. If we get it about the 24th or 25th, I think 2 weeks would be sufficient for me to review it.
Agree.
All right.
Okay. We don't need to make a motion. No. Okay.
Just more of a housekeeping.
Okay. And then just want to move on. Is any commissioner reports?
This is Commissioner Wing. Just as a comment, the second applicant that we had on Kensington Road, who had received the quote from Heritage Window Restoration, that is actually the restoration company that I took the window workshop at last year.
Okay.
And they do amazing work on some of the most historic homes in the Grand Rapids area. I'm not surprised at how high that quote was.
Wow.
I know it was shockingly high, but they do excellent work. They have an amazing workshop with a lot of different staff and craftspeople, and anybody who would hire them would absolutely be thrilled with the level of expertise that is done on their windows.
I was appreciative that someone had actually found and gotten a quote for rehabilitation, because that seemingly is a stretch sometimes. So.
Yep, it never happens. Right.
That's good.
And this person absolutely, that company specializes in it. It's not how sometimes people will go out and get a quote from somebody who is deliberately highballing something without any detail. Even though Heritage was only making an estimate and didn't have the ability to make a true quote because they didn't come out to the house, they actually do wood window restoration.
Right. Wow.
And I know, and not trying to take anything away from your comments, obviously, Jessica. But I know that one reason why that price is so high is because I talked with them as well about repairing some of the windows in my house. It's because they would have to come from Grand Rapids every day as well. So you also have the travel time that's associated with it too.
Sometimes a lot of wood window folks will take a certain number of windows off site, and then it's neither here nor there. They're going to replace them. Was not keen on replacement, but I was outnumbered, and so it is what it is. But I've not worked with them, and so I couldn't speak to their level of expertise. But I would have encouraged them to get 3. I always say get 3 quotes. Okay, I appreciate your comments.
And I was also going to go back to the guidelines, and I don't know how far afield we want to get on the guidelines, but so much of what we get into is the fact that windows or the brick or the masonry or the siding or the porch or whatever hasn't been maintained. And so as a result, the homeowner's only option, at least in their mind, is they have to replace it. They can't possibly fix whatever the issue is. Would it make sense for us to have, doesn't have to be a huge, explanation, but some type of information within the guidelines that opens with the statement that maintenance is your best friend. And that's true for any house, right? It doesn't matter whether your house is 100 years old or if it was just stood up 5 years ago. If you don't maintain your house, there's a cost associated with deferred maintenance, and it's always more expensive than if you just maintained it all along.
Yeah.
And so without wagging our fingers at them, maybe that's what we open the guidelines with is, here's what you should be looking at on a regular basis if you don't want to have, the expense of replacing siding, of replacing windows, of having to have brand new masonry put in.
Right.
Yeah, I can add that.
I think that's a really good suggestion. I think it's important. I think that people often think our only approach is replacement. They don't know that
Yep.
there's craftsmen and craftswomen out there that are actually specializing in this. So they don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a really bad window, get that one window fixed, right? And maybe they can repair a couple of other windows, but you won't be doing the entire house at a cost of $900 a window in one fell swoop.
Right. That's
Anyway.
outrageous. So expensive.
That's all I had.
Thank you, Diane. Are there any other comments from the commission?
Not up here, so.
Okay. Lost my. Okay. Jake, any staff reports?
No, I'm off the next few Fridays. But I'll be on my email. So if you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, we're back in office all day, every day here at City Hall. Wear a mask in the downtown at all times per mayor's orders. Be safe. If you need anything, feel free to let me know at any time.
Thanks, Jake. I didn't know you guys were back in office all the time.
We have been back since the beginning of August, I think, 40 hours a week. So.
Oh my word. Okay.
Be prepared for virtual meetings for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Commissioner Sousa, did you have a question or comment?
I was waving goodbye.
Oh, okay. Goodbye, everyone. No assignments, and so I adjourn the meeting. A motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Motion by Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Sousa. Thank you, guys. Sorry for being late.
No worries.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Have a good one.
Go enjoy NFL football.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Right. Good night.